I have learned from experience for myself that I have to say no when I'm at enough, not when I'm depleted.
I don't think there's anything else that needs to be added on to that. That is pretty much the intro. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video here on Chats with Michelle. Saying no when you've had enough and not when you're depleted. My goodness, did she say a word? And I quite literally had to take, well, I guess that wasn't my advice, but I had to take heed to that advice. Actually, if you've been joining me every single week, last week, I needed to rest. And with good counsel, it was as if I got permission to just ease my mind. And that is some advice that I would give to my younger self and any young woman watching this. Saying no when you've had enough. And that can be in so many ways, so many different situations and scenarios, whether that's in relationships, platonic or romantic, and even work, relationships, your career, whatever it is, just knowing when to say no. Now, being that I just entered into my 30s, when I look back at my 20s, one of the things that I realized a pattern that I had is that I didn't say no when I had enough. It was like I was always bringing myself to depletion. And the problem with that is that it can really warp your character, because when you've had enough, you're able to walk away from a situation on sometimes, if not most times, in good standards. But when you're depleted and your cup is empty and you have nothing else to give, now a version of you that maybe you're not the most proud of is what comes out. Something that I used to say on this channel is that I'm adulting. And I do now realize that I'm no longer adulting. I am a full-blown adult. So I'm no longer adulting, but I am still navigating adulthood. And in this journey of navigating adulthood, one thing that is very clear to me now, like I said, newly in my 30s, etc., is that I want to be a sure and decisive woman who not only respects myself, but shares and shows people how to respect me. And I want the same for you as well, because I think especially when we're young, I know for myself, there was a season in my life where I was a people pleaser. And then not even only that, just wanting to do things that just really drained me. And I've come to a place in a space in my life that I have to know when enough is enough. And I have to listen. We have to listen to our bodies and say, listen, my body is talking to me right now. There's no more peace in this relationship, whatever. And it's time for me to move on. And if you're a young woman watching this, and not to say that if you're an older woman, this doesn't apply to you, whatever, but I feel like I would have saved myself so much headache had I just been a sure person, a decisive person, and said, no, I've had enough, and walked away. Because when you're young, you kind of feel like this is the best thing, the best that it's ever going to be, right? You feel like in this moment, this is what I've always wanted and it can't get better than this. And I want to assure you, as someone who is newly in their 30s and had the ups and downs of being in my 20s, I want to encourage you to learn this lesson sooner and not later. So there's a podcast that Priscilla Shirer has with her son, and I watch it from time to time. I don't always catch it, but there was a most recent podcast that they had, and they shared something in it that was just so timely, so profound, and I wanted to go ahead and share it with you. I'll be sure to also link it in the description box and the exact timestamp that I'm talking about. But basically, they were talking about stewarding your time and what that means, right? And on one hand, right in the beginning, I talked about rest, and rest is important. And this is something that I'm learning to be better at. And at the same time, you want to be mindful that you're stewarding your time wisely. And I want to go ahead and share the example that they gave, because I feel like it'll bless you the way that it blessed me. And essentially, the whole gist of it was that not stewarding your time wisely can actually cost you more, meaning that you lost the time that you wasted And you also have nothing to gain because you wasted that time. So it's like you lost double time, the past and the future. And that was just so just very timely for me, because if I were honest, in like the last month or so, like probably like in this last month, I found myself doing a lot of doom scrolling, basically just being online and just trying to like fill time and space and really just trying not to think. And I felt like I wasted a lot of time. And one of the biggest things that I talked about this year is wanting to be intentional about keeping my promises to myself. And in many ways I have, and in other ways I probably wasted time where I could have gotten a little bit more done. So one of the things that I'm doing practically, right, is I said, Michelle, from this month on to the rest of the year, being that the Lord will let me see it. So if you're watching this when this comes out, this is August of 2025. I said, yeah, you need to put a limit on social media. And I don't mean social media like when you're doing like research and stuff. No, but when you, like all that doom scrolling, it's like, yeah, girl, no, you and I don't know what that time is. I'm wondering if I'm going to give myself an hour. I'm not sure yet, but I realize that I need to set parameters because I don't want to have two negatives in the future and the past because I'm just not stewarding my time wisely. I've been really intentional about sticking to the different goals that I had, give or take, right? Some of the things I've taken longer to do than I said that I've wanted to do, but for the most part, I don't know if I'll say I've done my best, but I will say that I've been intentional about being like, oh yeah, this is what you said you need to do. So you need to do it. So I look forward to, and I want to challenge you as well to stretch yourself a little bit more. In the last video, I talked about, whole workout culture, and they talk about doing things to failure, pretty much just like really pushing yourself. So I want to go ahead and encourage you, because it's something I'm going to be doing as well, is really pushing yourself to do like that one extra thing. I talk a lot about keeping your promises to yourself, because listen, if you don't keep your promise to yourself, nothing else would get done, because you have to want it more than anyone else. Because if no one sees that excitement in you, then why should someone else support you, if that makes sense? So anyways, I'm looking forward to just really pushing myself and really looking at the different things that I had listed and making the time to just get it done. If I were honest, in the last like month or so, I think I did just enough, and I feel like I could have pushed myself a little bit more. So if you feel like you're in that same boat, I want to encourage you to do the same. And with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for watching today's video. Listen, if you found this video valuable, please consider sharing it with someone who may also find this video valuable. And while you're at it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because listen, we've got so much to chat about. Bye.